Hello and welcome again to another Excel training video. Today we're going to have a look at something to do with tables and how to actually enter data into tables. And we're going to do this in a couple of stages. So first of all, we're going to look at how we create a table, and then we'll have a look at how we can put in a simple form which will enter the data into that table. Now this is a way that most people don't understand is there. I'm going to say thanks to Leila for your video just recently that prompted me to produce this one. This is a way of doing a form without VBA in the first case, and it's an old feature, forms, and the button has been taken off the ribbons, so I'll show you how to put it back. And then we'll see how we can actually automate this, so we can put it in with a little bit of VBA to actually run opening the form without the specific user who's entering data in the form necessarily being able to see all of the data that's already in the form. So we'll start off first of all. I'll just click in a cell and I'm just going to type in the details that I want to go in the form. So I'll just say name, phone and address. And that's what I want in my form. So I just click in any one of these and I'll just do Control T. And I am going to say my table does have headers because those are the headers that I've put in. And I've just got to make sure it selects the right range of cells. And it has got the right range of cells selected. So I can click OK there. It's now turned this into an Excel table. Now this part is very important. You do need to make sure that you've actually got the table tools design ribbon up there. Previous version would have table tools and then design. It's the same. This is just the latest update. Now what you're looking for here is the form that lets you automatically fill in data in the table. Now unfortunately it's not easily available. It'd be great if it was on the right click here, and what we're going to do in the end of this video is we're going to put a button on the screen, but actually on another sheet, so that the user is viewing this sheet and they click on the button and it brings up the form for them to put data in, which will automatically be entered on this sheet. Now you'll notice that I've not put it starting in A1, and actually you'll see this is to prove a point. You do need to put it in the top left hand side of your sheet. You'll see why later on. Okay, to actually show the form we need to come over here and we're going to just go into more commands. Now equally you can get there by just right clicking and saying customize quick access toolbar, or you can go to file options and quick access toolbar. Now it's not in the popular commands, it's not actually on a ribbon, we're looking for all commands, and we're just going to click down in here if it gets to popular commands, and we'll press F and we're looking for form. So you'll see as I scroll down we have the form ... I'm going to add this in and click OK. Now let me show you what this does. If I'm in a table, now I have to actually be in the table for this to work. I have to have a cell in the table selected. I click on that button and it opens a form and it's automatically populated with all of the records that are in that form. Now I can quickly put in some details here. And as soon as I click close, it fits in or fills in that information. This is quite useful, I'm sure you'll agree. However, it does require whoever's going to click on that button to first be on the page with all of the information in that form, which we might not want them to be, and also requires them to know how to put that button on their screen in the first place. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to go to another sheet, and I'm going to call this start. Let's imagine this is the sheet that the user is going to start on, and we're going to just record a macro of us going to that form, clicking in here, and then clicking on that button, and we'll have a look and see what the code actually looks like. So we'll go to the start ribbon, start form. I'll click on record macro. I'm just going to leave it called macro 1. And it's in this workbook. We're just going to have a look at the code in a minute. I click OK. Now it's recording me changing sheets, clicking in a certain cell, and clicking there to open the form. And it seems to work fine. So I can go ahead and do something, and I can stop recording. Okay, let's have a look at the code for that. So Alt F11, and it's in a module on this workbook, and it's in the latest of the modules there. So what you can see here is that the first line of code has actually selected the data form, the sheet. It's then gone in and selected a range of data. Now it can be any of the cells which is in the form. And then when I get to the active sheet, show data form, what that's doing is saying within the active sheet, in other words, where you are, show the data form. So it's a very, very simple command in the code, which is show data form. That's really the key to all of this. But what happens when I run this code? I'm just going to move down here and switch sheets. So we'll actually step through this code so we can actually see it working. So first of all, I'm going to press F8 to step through the code. Now you can see it changing sheets, that's fine. You'll see it selecting the headers, that's fine. And now it stops. This is a problem to do with the way that Excel is referring to the data form. So I'm going to just end that, and I'm going to select my table, and I'm going to move the whole table to the top left-hand corner of my workbook. Now if I run the code, it should work. So if I click in here and do F8 again, you see it changes sheets, selected the headers, and now it works and shows the form. Now the reason you have to do that is because the table itself needs to be starting in A1 or near the top. So I think A2 will also work, but generally you should put the start of the table in A1. Don't put anything else above the table. It's not part of the data, don't put it in. When you've got that done, that should all work fine. All that's left to do now is to add a button on the sheet here. So I'm going to say insert a shape, just put a rounded rectangle in, not that I'm unimaginative, and I'll call it show form, and I'm just going to align that properly and assign a macro to it. So the macro I'm going to assign will be that macro 1, which of course we'd have renamed already, and I'll click OK. Now all I need to do is hit that button, and it won't run if I'm still in break mode, so I need to actually come out of break mode first. And it works and it shows the form. However, in the background we can now see all the data. Now it might be that this form is big enough to cover over the data, but I don't want to see the data. So I'm going to do one more thing in the code. And we're going to stop the sheets or the Excel refreshing. Application dot look and see what we can find. Application screen updating equals false. And just to make it slightly easier for ourselves, when we get down to the end here, we can do a couple of other things. And we're just going to choose that one there. And we're going to change back to our start sheet. So what's going to happen here is we're going to stop updating the screen. In other words, we're not going to see what it does when it selects the other sheet. We are, of course, going to see the form, because the form is on top of all of the sheets, not part of the sheets. And then we're not going to see it switching back. And then, of course, this last one, we'll change that back to true, so it does see the updating from now onwards. Okay, let's give that one a go. Click on there. I don't see it changing sheets in the background. I can now say new, type in a different person, and that will put in all of their data. Now if I close that and go back to that form, you'll see it's got Bill's data there, but Bill never actually saw the other people's data on that form. Okay, I hope that's been useful to you guys. Any comments, please put them down below. And if you have any questions, please also put them down below. If you want a copy of this code, if I didn't leave it up long enough, again, please just put a comment down below and give me an address or email to send it to. That's it from me. Thank you for listening.